a few uh, things already pinned here, which are again customizable. These are some widgets, some reports. So we have currently, let's say, about 12 reports, out of which six can be, there on the front page, and again
Okay.
customizable. Now
Okay.
there are two kind of visuals here. One is the live, which is on the positions. The second is based on the end of the day run, which we have done the previous
Okay.
run. So it could be yesterday, it could be, if you're running weekly. So based on those, the values are derived from the EOD run. So both, kind of visuals are there on the landing page. And then you
Okay.
have these alerts which you can set as per your profile. So one is the regular updates which you get, which is across the organization. Second is any alerts which you have set for yourself. Those will start appearing here. So this is
Okay.
of course, a demo environment. So there is not much movement happening here, but
Okay.
usually this will be crowded if you have a lot of transactions going on.
Okay.
Uh, I'll start with the master. I've kept, fairly decent time for this, so I'll,
Okay.
start with the settings first, and then
Okay.
we'll jump on to the actual transactions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in your case, if you're doing, let's say, if you're not doing features, etc., this will be, we'll restrict it to only those features for you,
Okay. Okay.
right? So we start with, let's say, system. So there are two kind of settings. One is the the system settings, which are more administrative, and second is business settings, which are, your regular masters related to business, which to start with, of course, will be done initially by us. But let's say if you have any commodities, counterparties, etc., those you can do fairly yourself. You don't need any assistance from us, right?
Okay. Okay.
So global indicators are all the drop downs, etc., which you will see on various screens. And again, since we didn't want to keep it through backend or anything, everything is can be modified, edit from here itself, right?
Okay.
So you can just click here, see which module it is, and based on that you can add. Of course, some things will be quite static, standard, so you don't need
Obviously.
to really touch it. But there are other things which you may want to add. For example, let's say FX pair. So let's say today you are dealing USD, INR. Tomorrow, if you are doing Euro, etc., those pairs you can always add. Since we don't want to crowd everything, so of course, we don't want to put everything initially, but based on your business, once you have any additional requirements, it can be done directly by you without
Okay.
our interference.
Okay.
Then these are the transaction IDs, so your invoice number, debit note, credit note numbering, all those things can be modified or done from here. So how many digits, uh, this is the format, right? So date, uh, in which format, what is the sequence, all those things can be done from here. Again, one time setup, but can be modified if required. Then the document template.
Okay.
So again, all your invoices, debit note, credit note, any other documents, all those can be again customized from here itself. So this is, so let's say if you go towards right, you'll see that the format. So this is the format. Again, uh, one time setup, but once you open it, you'll see, let's say, uh, some of the fields which are referred, your logos, etc. So all these will be customized initially for you, and once it is set up based on the combination, it will be automatically picked up, right? So once you have this combination of the business application company, etc., this template will be automatically and counterparty. Basically this combination, right? So you can have it drill down to whatever level you want, right? So let's say for each counterparty commodity, if you want a different template, it's all possible.
Okay.
Then of course you have user master, but before that, let me jump into role master. So this is where you define each level of, on each screen, what is the level of access this role will get, right? And then
Okay.
this role will be attached to the user, so that let's say you have whatever admin user, finance user, traders, so all those roles can be defined here initially, and then the same can be attached in your user master.
Okay.
So let's say user master will again have the roles, but also within that user master, it will have which legal entities it has access to, which profit center it has access to, which counterparty it has access to, right? So all
Okay.
these uh, things can be again restricted at a screen level as well as a user level, right?
Okay.
So and again you can make it active, inactive, pretty uh, and again in most of the screens you'll find the copy button, which is, let's say, if you want to assign a similar role to another user, right? So you can just copy paste the same thing and then
Okay.
maybe edit if you require want, or you can just change the username, first name, etc., and you can save it. So it becomes much easier for you instead of going into each screen and assigning all the fields. You can simply do copy paste. In most of the
Okay.
screens this feature is available. And again, again, standard things are there like edit, etc., which you'll find on most of the screens. Now, even for role, you can, let's say, if you have multiple entities, you can define which is the default entity, right? So let's say in this case, I have taken Xceler refining and import as default for me, but I can have access to multiple entities, right?
Okay.
So that is also possible. This is user session maintenance, just for your audit purposes. Then notification settings. This is the place where if you define any specific alerts for you, then you will start receiving it in your home page. So this is again very user specific what you want to do. Approval configuration, again, typically in large organization, they have multiple level of approvals during invoicing, during counterparty creation, during invoice. So all those approval workflows can be created here, right? So
Okay.
it can have one or multiple levels which can be defined here. Uh, then these are the tenant configuration. So again, different customers may have different kind of requirements, and some of these things are again, without touching the code, we wanted to keep it configurable. So we have brought it under this configurable screen, where let's say rounding format you can define. Now, Rahul must have mentioned to you that we have a standard API based configuration. So even within Xceler, there are about 26 services which talk to each other through APIs. Similarly, when we talk, let's say if you have another ERP, SAP or Xero or any other ERP, that can be connected here through these APIs, and that
Okay.
configuration is defined here. But once it is defined, then you can push pull data easily across different applications. And again, it's not restricted to ERP also only. Let's say if you have any other subscriptions, any other system where you are managing different data, which has API, open APIs, then we can easily configure it here itself.
Okay.
Uh, Again, some of the system configuration settings which slightly vary between customers or between different commodities. So we have kept it configurable here. So, based
Mm-hmm.
on yes or no, you can, simply start looking at that option or not, right? So very, very
Mm-hmm.
simple. Uh, e-invoice. So for Malaysia, we have also configured e-invoicing, which is a requirement there. So
Mm-hmm.
those configurations are done here. And this is the licensing. So how many modules you have taken. So from apart from core CTRM, we also have treasury and origination.
Okay.
Now we are adding a complete new derivative, right? So
Mm-hmm.
all those modules, you may have license or not. So based on that, it is defined
Mm-hmm.
here, and the of course the number of
Mm-hmm.
users, right? So all that is
Mm-hmm.
defined here, and based on that, you'll be able to log in, with so many users with only those modules.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is base file upload. So basically, uh, for your 1 second. So there are two screens which you can see. One is the file import management, which is for your typical initial setup where all the masters, etc. If you have any other system or Excel, we can import the file and upload, the data, one-time data here. But you may have certain, configurations to be run during runtime, right? So again, it could be very specific use case for you. So instead of again touching the code, we have given the provision that, of course, it will be done with our help, but we can just write a simple code, and from, by running it here, it will be executed only for your subset of data which you want,
Okay.
right? So that way, things are kept very configurable and manageable, so that there is the dependency on us becomes very, very less,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, there is a screen configuration for a few screens, basically all the trade screens, etc., where you can
Mm-hmm.
define what fields you are using as per your use case, and rest of the fields can be removed, right? Because
Mm-hmm. Okay.
as we kept growing, the customer's requirement kept increasing, and more fields we kept adding based on certain
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
users. But if your use case is limited, then we can always customize it for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the user master, or whatever the system settings. I'll take a pause here, and would love to have any questions if you have.
Surya, anything that you have to ask? I'm okay with at my end. Surya?
Hanji. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. So, see, why I wanted to spend more time here is because a lot of these things, once you have configured here, it will automatically start flowing in your trade flows, or your execution, flow within when I show, let's say, the trade life cycle, right? So, so then a lot of errors or a lot of uh, unnecessary things which you have to, done and then undo, etc. Right? So that's why I'm trying to give you a wholesome idea of what all is possible in the system. Of course, we'll help you during the initial implementation. I'll come to the main trade execution part shortly, right? So this is just to give you an idea of how the system, why, how the system functions, right? Unless you understand there, you will have a lot of questions during the main trade flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let's say, let me quickly jump to the business settings also. Then I won't spend too much time here because most of these things probably this is your business, so you'll know much better than me. So, company, of course, your main company's structure is defined here. Again, if you have multiple entities, those can be defined here. Profit center, uh, if you are again running multiple businesses, right? So let's say you have a trading arm, you have a processing arm, you have a stock and sale arm, or if you have a different line of business, let's say for a specific country. So those can be defined under the profit center. Again, the idea is to give you more control over, let's say when you run individual P&L or individual
Mm-hmm.
MTM, at which level you want to see, right? If you have a simple business, you want to see just a single structure, you need not define this. But if you want to keep it multiple across multiple businesses, then that can be defined under profit centers. Uh, Location master, of course, all the ports, warehouses, etc., which where you are operating, those can be defined here. All your counterparties will be defined under counterparty. Processing strategy, again, this is something where if you are doing certain processing, which is, of course, in your case, you are doing, right? So let's say you are getting CPO, you are converting it into RPO, right? So you can define the processing strategy here. Of course, this is what will come when you are, let's say, transferring from one location to another. Then this input can be used, uh, and these numbers will be automatically calculated for you. But you can always go and overwrite it based on the actual numbers which you get, right? So there you can all the idea is that one is to make your process easier when you're doing your actual processing from RM to FG.
Mm-hmm.
The second is to even control, right? So let's say this is kind of your standard definition, but if there are
Mm-hmm.
variations, too much variations, you may want to look at your whatever RM quality or the processing strategy or whatever, right? So those things
Mm-hmm.
also can be monitored from here. So based on this, your calculations, you can define your calculations, and then you can see what was planned versus what is actual, right? So all those things can be done, once you define here. If you don't want, you can simply move from, let's say, RM location to FG location, right? Then you will not have this level of details. Again, all these things are optional. The deeper you want, there are more options for you. If you want to keep it very super, at the top level, you can just keep it there. Similarly, the opposite of, let's say, processing, if you are combining certain RM and creating an FG, that also can be defined here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's
Okay.
say, this is just a very crude examples, but let's say if you are doing a biryani masala and you are adding certain spices, and on top of that, there could be additional
Mm-hmm.
costs here. All those can be defined here. And then, uh, this is just a master, but basically, once we go to the transactions, you'll see that based on, let's say, you can define what output you have forecast, and then based on that, how much RM you would need, and whether you have it in your inventory or you have any purchase contracts for it or not. Based on that, you can start seeing the shortage also. So both in terms of quantity as well as in terms of pricing, you can start doing your analysis and see what is short, how your numbers are looking. uh, if you have, let's say, a fixed RM price, etc., and you have a fixed FG, then you can start seeing your margins. Uh, but in some cases, let's say if you're doing a contract manufacturing kind of thing, then you can define your RM cost, put your margin, and then see what should be the FG cost for you, right? Which your customer should pay. So those things are defined here. Your storage locations are defined. Your vessel masters are defined. Of course, the commodities which you are dealing with are defined here. Uh, so yes, please. Mm-hmm. So, of course, you can link the trades with your derivatives. You can link the trades with physical trades with your FX trades also. So, again, when I come to the actual module, I'll show you.
Anuj, can I take this answer?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Surya, so basically, see the entire intent of this, platform is to really do a margin compute of your refining, right? So raw material to finished goods equivalent when you are changing the price of your raw material. So whatever is the product, the derivative products, meaning all the products which you're deriving like olein, stearine, PFAD, etc., all will change. Yeah. At the same time, so for example, if you're building an inventory based on the current crude palm oil of say 1050, so based on that, you can actually simulate that what should be my price of stearine, what should be my price of PFAD, etc. So that influence. So when you're actually having a loose refined oil in your tanks, like the finished one, you will know exactly how much is the price of this should be. Now the market may not be trading at that level, right? I mean the market may be you're after you're refining, the market might be trading at say 1040 negative $20 parity, but at least you have that analytics in the system which will tell you what was my raw material price, what is my finished goods refining price, and where the market price is. So all this information will be right in front of you from a parity perspective. You can also build a parity sheet here. It's yeah. Yeah. Yes, 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 you can do that. I mean, that is something which I think, look, I mean, I would not like to really jump into the system demo without actually, I don't know if you got a chance to see the presentation in the first place. Did you had a chance to look at the presentation? Okay, so I think that should be the first thing. There are different use cases, right? I mean, the entire shipment scheduling you can do right at the vessel level. So all your purchase, which is loaded in the vessel, who you're selling somebody at a lower of the tolerance because he has got a lower price sale. You're selling somebody at a higher of the tolerance because a good price sale. So in the same vessel, you can do all this kind of planning, right? I mean, it's pretty natural. I've bought 10,000 tons, loaded 9,900 tons, and average cost of my purchase is $1,000. Whereas my sales is coming at 1,040, 1,070, 1,080, 1,020. All kind of sales is coming in the same vessel. I can actually deliver maximum to the one who is at the highest price. So those kind of planning you can do right at the vessel, and that will give you a clarity, and that is what will also go into your financial system as a realization P&L. Yeah. Let me do one thing. Anuj, why don't we just, Harsh, I have never met you. So if you don't mind just having a very quick introduction, I mean, maybe we can, sorry, I'm just rewinding thing. I got a call when we're just getting started. So couldn't really get onto it. Perfect. Okay. So he's from a finance and account side.
Apologies.
Okay. Hi. Hi. All right, wonderful. No, I'll just tune our discussion. We will tune our discussion based on the audience. So that's why it'll be good to have a clarity who all are there in the discussion. Yeah. Okay, good. I mean, since look, I mean, the thing is that there are since we have already started, do you want us to go back to the presentation or shall we continue? We'll send you the presentation. Up to you guys.
Yeah. So, Rahul, I asked that question before I started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah, Anuj, please carry on. Yeah, I will. I'll jump wherever. I mean, you can redirect any question to me as well. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So again, when it comes to commodities, we have pretty elaborate, definition. So commodity, that's the basic definition. But let's say you can go to the, define the grade level, origin, packaging. If you have, since in your case RPO will be packaged, so those things can be defined here. Your brands can be defined. The season, crop season can be defined. All those
I
things
think
can
I
be
think
defined.
we'll keep our discussion only to the bulk. I don't think we will get into the packed product sort of thing. Yeah. So we'll
Mhm.
start from the bulk import, the refining of bulk raw material, and the loose inventory which you're getting in the refined products as a bulk. We'll do the entire traceability. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the commodities will be defined. Then, of course, your unit of measurement, Incoterm, other standard things. Grade master, which is coming here, will be defined first initially here. Then only it will start appearing under grade. So all your grades can be defined here. Uh, Payment terms. Again, before assigning it to any counterparty, first the payment terms have to be defined. So once you have defined all your payment terms here, then you can start assigning it to your counterparties. Price index, for running your MTM, you need to define initially the indexes, which is both your physical as well as FX indexes, and then the external packaging if you have. So yeah, this is broadly the business master settings which are required before we jump into the actual transactions. Any questions, Surya, Harsh? Shall we wait for him? Sure, sure. Okay. So a company,
While Harsh is coming, if you guys don't mind, can I just open up the presentation? I think it'll just help. I know that we don't like to go through the presentation, but and please feel free to let the question flow. Just give me a moment. You can see my screen, right?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Look, the whole purpose, Surya, the whole purpose of the Xceler, the reason for its existence was the fact that we really want to address, the mid markets, which is where the requirement of platform has to be very light. Yeah. So if you look at the entire design, the way the platform has been designed, it's like a block of Legos. So today we have customers who are 100 plus users, like Apical, PIL, SMS, Sunfield, etc., large customers. Sunfield is small, relatively quite small. But at the same time, there are other trading companies who are using our platform, are much smaller, 5 people, 10 people team, right? So it really depends on your usage, and based on what you are looking for, the entire services or the modules can be actually arranged to give you the right outcome. Ultimately, what you are looking is a specific outcome, and that is what we are interested to solve it from it. What is your pain point? What is the current problem statement? That is need to be clearly outlined, and that's what we will address. To answer your question, since we are on this subject, look, typically you have in your team maybe 2 or 3 trading decision maker, right? I mean, when to purchase. Once the purchase is done, then it is sent out as a contract. You get a supplier's contract. You may have you own local contracts, or you may have even a sales contract of your own, right? CIF sales, etc. You might be doing. So all that kind of there might be somebody who will be actually making a decision in terms of what to purchase, when to purchase, and actually do the purchase. And then somebody would be required to enter the transaction into the system. And then once the transaction is entered, there is one team, typically what we call as an operations team, who would be essentially working on issuance of LC, if in case of it's an importation, right? So all the vessel planning, importation of LCs, sales purchase planning, pricing of the cargo in case if the cargo is unpriced, etc. And then once all these things are done, once based on the tendering of the cargo at the load port or at the discharge port, then somebody will be doing the full settlement cycle. By this time, the transaction is already firmed, the settlements are already firmed. So we also can integrate it back into your SAP or any other ERP that you're using for it to be useful to your finance. So again, maybe about 5 to 6 people team is a good enough, right? From trading, operations, documentations, risk and finance. Somebody like a risk or finance controller is required. That would be the ideal composition in a smaller or mid-tier setup. For a larger companies like Apical and PIL, etc., obviously there are multiple trader, multiple geography, multiple kind of pack products, bulk product, biodiesel. There are different segments, there are different entities. So it's a very complex maze. Yeah. So it depends how you really want to drive the whole car. Yeah. Okay, so that's where we are. These are some of our existing customers with whom we are working. Quite a few of those names I'm sure you are familiar, who are part of the edible oil segment. But quite a few are also part of other commodities such as cocoa, coal, iron ore, etc. So we are not only catering to dry bulk container business, but we are also catering to wet bulk container, even road transport, etc. Because even for some of the local Malaysian transports, local Malaysian, contract or India-centric local contracts are handled in the system today. Okay, these are some of the industry use case. I'll spend about 5 minutes here, if you don't mind, very quickly. So Apical, as I'm sure you know, that they are world's largest refiner. They do about 33,000 tons per day refining, does about 16 million tons of global edible oil. So all these transactions, all the global transactions are managed in our platform. So there are 100 plus users for all their onshore business. So their refining and upstream business is not in our system. So that is what we call as an onshore business. All the offshore business is part of our platform. So the moment the goods are ready for export, from that point to all the export destination, hedging, FX, etc., all are part of the system, right? So right at their point, how much is your holding in inventory? How much are the sales? How much is the nomination? What kind of vessel planning is done? What kind of settlements are done basis the quality outturn, quantity outturn? What kind of pricing terms are given based on the various party? You might have a various kind of party provisional pricing. You might have a delayed, post-discharge pricing also is there for some of the parties. All those things are there. One of the critical element is that since there are multiple entities through which Apical operates, right? So it also helps you to solve that, hey, intercompany transactions all can be managed within the system. So just imagine you are selling Surya, you're buying say oil from Apical and selling it to Harsh, and Harsh is selling it to say Anuj, and Anuj is the out of the is outside party, and you and Harsh are like intercompany. So those kind of intercompany transaction with a margin adjustment, all those things can be very well managed within the platform. Yeah. So that's how the whole industry use case is from Apical. PIL, as I said, very destination heavy business, meaning largely they do a lot of destination business, which means buying oil right at the shores of Malaysia, Indonesia, and selling it to the Middle East and Red Sea market, North Africa market, all the way till Turkey. And they have their own inventory, so which means they buy, they load, they will discharge some oil in some of the inventory, then they make the local sales from there, or they may have certain kind of even split sales. So I might have sold something to a party A, and then I decided, hey, can we adjust into the next vessel and split that and deliver into some of their own factory running in, say, Yemen or North Africa. So very dynamic destination buyer. And all this kind of shipment planning and dynamic shipment planning, they can manage within the platform and accurately calculate the realized P&L. Yeah. SSMS, which is also Chitra Borneo, India, or Chitra Borneo Uttama, which is the listed company in Indonesia. Right from the oil coming out of the mill to the refinery to the export lot, they track everything. So the moment the CPO is there, they have the full inventory information of the CPO. So the positions are up there. And then there is a decision-making process whether the refining is giving them the better margin or whether the local sales, if there is an additional need for refining, whether they need to source from their own mills or whether they need to source from third party. Based on processing, what is your processing margin? And obviously, all the export program they manage through Xceler. Yeah. So these are some of the common use cases within edible oil that we have tackled. Unfortunately, I should have also added one of the Indian edible oil case, which I will very quickly explain. So right from the point when the import is planned, right? I mean, and most of the import that BN is today doing is part vessel. They're not booking full vessel. So they might be buying CIF sometime. They might be buying FOB at times. So they're buying CIF and they can sell CIF. They're buying CIF, discharge into their own, bonded tanks in Kandla. All right. And from their bonded tanks, so conversion of imported oil to local oil. So dollar equivalent INR with all the adjusted duty and tariff gives you the actual pricing of your oil in the Kandla port, right? And at that point in time, from there, the local delivery, so meaning you can have a duty paid or a duty unpaid transactions done. Both kind of transactions they are managing. They're also doing something where they are buying DO and selling DO. So literally, these are not, they are like acted like a paper trade. So we are buying, from the warehouse only to sell it to nominate it to other party, those delivery orders. So those kind of transactions are also managed, meaning I have purchased against a purchase, I have paid the advance and got a delivery order. Against a sale, I have received the advance, and then only I will be able to issue the delivery order, and I match the delivery orders, right? So I will be able having a full traceability of how much was the purchase, how much was the loaded in the truck, how much was, how much was the final settlement, any kind of debit note, credit note on the quality or quantity outturns, all that thing is managed within the system. Last but not least, they run a 500 TPD plant in Gandhidham. So there also the whole weighted average program of how much is your raw material price versus what is your finished goods equivalent price. They can trace and track on a daily basis now, not on a monthly or weekly, but on a daily basis. So technically, it becomes a very clear system for them in terms of what are the key positions across the point where they are having a contract to the delivery to the refining. Yeah. Any question, Surya and Harsh, so far?
No, we can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So why are we trying to, why are we trying to really, have this system in place? I think most of refiner today are using a larger refining, including you guys, and we have spoken to some of the top 5, top 7 refiner. Needless to name them, all of them. Most of them have SAP in the system, right? I mean, if everyone have probably implemented SAP, Oracle, or some other ERP platform. But the fact of the matter is that the entire dynamic nature of the trading is very different. SAP and Oracle are good ERP for your manufacturing process or pack product, but the moment you come to this trading, you need more dynamic trading system. So the key idea was that a lot of this information are there in pockets in Excel spreadsheet with traders, operators, means operations and documentation team. Finance will have their own data referring to SAP and some of their own data. So the data pockets are created, in a multiple location. And that's the reason why you need a simple system where the moment you have a transaction in place, you start keying in, right? And the moment this transaction are keyed in, a single transaction is visible across the organization. Now, Anuj was also already showing you a screen, and then probably the utility of that screen can now be defined that the entire screen, the entire platform is role-based access matrix, meaning you can actually expose who can see what information. I've done the trade and I have the P&L straight away calculated of it, but I do not want to show it to all the company. I want to keep it only with my trader and my finance controller, right? Operations can only see the moment the nominations are done, all the documentations and the action item that they need to do, they can only see that. So it gives you a very tightly coupled system. So your efforts are, first of all, automated. All the fragmented operations can be done in a single system. The moment the contracts are entered, you can have the entire risk management right from the word go. And then you can have all these kind of checks and balance, audit, everything in place. And needless to say, you start with 5 users or 10 users, but tomorrow I wish that your company grow big and you do multiple products and businesses. So even if you need 30, 40, 50 people to add to the system and multiple product, you can scale it without re-implementing anything or redoing anything. The whole advantage of a SaaS product is that we are constantly updating and upgrading. We are already having our infrastructure, taken care. So as you grow, the infrastructure grow, the system grow. It scales as you grow. So that's the key advantage that we bring to the business. Yeah. How do we fit in, right? I mean, where do the whole life cycle starts and ends? I mean, there are multiple outcomes-based advantage that we bring in the table. Right from the point you're onboarding all your parties, whether it's international suppliers, your buyers, domestic buyers or international buyers, all the counterparty onboarding can be done within the system. If you already have an ERP in place where you're already onboarding people, these customers, that we can also link Xceler to that to have a common sync of masters, so that SAP and Xceler have a common masters across the two systems. That's the step one. The moment the masters are done, the entire contract management can be done within the system. The moment the contract are done, whether it's a FOB purchase or sales, whether it's a CIF purchase or sales, whether it's a domestic sales purchase program, all these things can be done within the system. Once that is done, the step 2 would be the planning part, which Surya, you were asking about the whole planning, whether we can do max P&L, for example, somebody you have sold at a higher price, you can deliver, cargo at the higher of the tolerance. Somebody you have sold at a lower price, you can deliver the cargo at the lower of the tolerance. So all those things planning you can do within the system, and that planning can go all the way till execution, meaning the execution of that will happen right, till the invoicing, whatever you have planned. Yeah. So from contract to vessel level planning or a normal planning to execution, everything is seamless in a single system. Limits and controls. One of the key challenge with dynamic price movement today is who you are trading with, what kind of exposure you are running. So today the system can show you all the counterparty wise positions and P&L, both P&L. So for example, if you have purchased from some supplier, great. If the supplier is too much out of the money, which means your supplier has sold at $1,000 and today the market is $1,200 per ton. So that suppliers is out of the money by $200 per ton into 10,000. Let's assume that's the purchase. So you would like to secure that purchase because you would have planned that thing. What if the supplier default? At the same time on the buyer side, if the price you have sold is 1,200, market is 1,000, you have a reverse issue now that the buyer may default. So at least these kind of analytics getting generated on a daily basis gives you an ability to really pinpoint what are the risks, how much, which supplier I need to talk to, what kind of additional margin this, the buyer has to top up or supplier has to guarantee the, the delivery, etc., etc. So those kind of things you can run in the system itself. Uh, the system is completely auditable. I think again, Anuj was trying to show some of the placeholder where who's logging in, what are the data he's accessing, what data he or she has changed. All that thing is auditable. Yeah. And in terms of analytics, it spit out all kind of contracts related and analytics, mark to market exposure reports, right from the both in terms of tabulated 2 by 2 dimensional reporting as well as your dashboards. One of the key other module which we have also tackled is the treasury part. So treasury from a contract, I mean, the whole trading business perspective is also a very critical function because it operates, I mean, the entire commodity business is closely a financing business. So right from the point you have bank cash, balance, reconciliation, meaning all the bank cash to be pulled in single platform, all the estimated trade receivable and payable and actual trade receivable and payable can be pulled in the system. And then all the credit facility can be onboarded into our treasury platform. So what we are aimed to do with the treasury platform is to give you a good liquidity forecast of 7 days, 14 days, 21 days to really see where are my payables, where are my receivables, what are my cash balances of today, how much is the credit facility drawdown, what kind of cost is associated with the loans and the credit facility that I have drawn down. And you are able to do all kind of bank cost reconciliation. You are able to do the loan management or the credit management, etc., within the system. So while all these things can come together as a one unified platform, but these things can be offered like a distinct services. So you want just a CTRM or trading system, that is one. If you want just a treasury platform that, hey, forget about everything, I just want a treasury system, that can also come into picture, right? And these, needless to say, yeah, yeah, yes, these are all modular, very modular. Yeah, and needless to say, all these things are talking to your ERPs or SCPs, etc. So if at all you say, hey, Rahul, I just want a treasury system for now because my LC and LC management and liquidity management is my first priority, maybe that can be a very quick start. You can have a treasury platform. It can sit on top of your SCP or whatever ERP you're using. And then it can actually help you do all kind of cash bank balances and credit management, etc. within the platform. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is how the overall platform will come together to look at your overall problem statements that you have or what kind of activities that you're doing. These are some of the problem statements industry-wide. Obviously, lack of real-time, a lot of manual process, a lot of data silos, positions are not accurately reported or reported with certain kind of delays in it. If you're more and more into international trade, then compliance has become a big headache today, given that the vessel level screening or counterparty ultimate beneficial ownership level screening has become super important today. So all those things are key challenges, and with a system like Xceler, there are very definitive workflows and solutions which can address most of these industry pain points. Yeah. Any questions so far? I mean, anything which you would like to? Okay, all right. So, and from a use case, I think some of the use case would obviously come while we are showing up the platform. But as I said, the key idea was to really have a platform where you can show counterparty and credit lifecycle management. The moment you have done the transaction, you can actually trace your counterparties, payment terms to how much is the volume, value, exposure, what kind of risk we are running with each party, right? Then end-to-end traceability of all the contract, right from the inception of contract till the settlement. I bought 10,000 tons, tendered the quantity 9,980 tons. So all kind of debit note, credit note related to quantity outturn. If the FFA was promised as 4.5%, it was delivered at 4.25%. So premium of FFA to be paid. So all this quantity, quality outturns, which is related to that, can be handled. From a traceability perspective, if you have a bypass contract, which means I sold to say Surya ji sold to Harsh sold to Anuj, and I will have to bypass all of you to give the contract directly to Anuj, which is very common in your SIF string, right? So those kind of bypass contract can be done, and with a full traceability of the pricing which is done to Anuj, as well as all the intermediate pricing. I'm assuming you guys are not much into PKPG paper trades or futures trade, right, Surya? Okay. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if at all paper trade, if at all you guys intend to do, then those kind of thing can also be managed, or linked. You have OTC contract. If I may ask, are you doing it with like Marex, Olam, anybody like that? Okay. Understood. So those kind of contracts can also be, played out very well in terms of, in the system. Yeah. So in terms of intercompany, inter-profit center, as I said, if you're operating multiple company, if you are, just in case, you can have a very clear transaction managed between 2 companies, 3 companies, etc. The other thing is that this is something as a risk consulting we did for BN as well, was that we wanted to split the PNL of the trading side of the business and the refining side of the business, because the biggest challenge was that there are traders, obviously they have to report their own profit. And without any biasness, the first thing will happen is that I will take care of my position first, and then the refinery will be taking care of their position second. So that's why we have a concept of profit center where we want to bucket the position in the P&L on the refinery separately. What kind of exposure is there? Similarly, what kind of exposure is there for the trader? All that things we did there, which also allow you to have a very complete visibility. What contracts you're buying for refining? What contracts you're buying for sales to the open market? And you can switch. So whatever you have planned to sell for the open market can go to refinery. What have been planned for refinery can be sold to open market. So that at least the full traceability that whether the refinery is making the money, or the trader who is just taking the position is making the money. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, these are some of the things which you can achieve out of the system. Yeah, let's do that. So Harsh, I mean, if you have, if you can just list out, maybe that will be useful for us to, yeah. Harsh, are you there? Yeah, I think he's in mute. Yeah, Suryaji, I can hear you.
Sorry, hello.
Yeah, Harsh, I can hear you now. Yeah. Go ahead.
Just one second. Kuch issue ho raha hai, just. Yeah, Rahul, sorry, there was some network issue.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, Harsh. Yes.
See, आपने जो presentation दिया, that sums up, rather that covers up the things that we were requiring. अभी देखिए SAP है, I think Surya must have told you already, we are on SAP already. So जो उसके basic modules है वो use कर रहे हैं, but जैसे आपने treasury वाला चीज़ दिखाया, FDs है, LCs है, वो सब चीज़ें हैं जो अभी हम समझ लो एक छोटा सा सॉफ्टवेयर डिज़ाइन कर रखे हैं, इन हाउस उसमें कर रहे हैं. But obviously we would want that to be happening in a system like yours, and then directly configured with SAP. So वो एक चीज़ है. Then there are costing के aspect से है हमारा. ट्रेडिंग वाला बिजनेस का एस्पेक्ट भी है, क्योंकि हम कांडला पोर्ट में सब जगह पे करते हैं पूरा का पूरा, तो वो एक एस्पेक्ट है. सो दीज आर थिंग्स जो आज के दिन हम आउटसाइड सैप के परव्यू से बोल लो, जिसमें सिर्फ एंट्री कर रहे हैं, बाकी चीजें आउटसाइड मेंटेन कर रहे हैं. सो आपने द थिंग्स दैट यू कवर्ड इन योर प्रेजेंटेशन मोस्टली sums up all the things that we were requiring. And let's see, अभी सूर्या and we will have a discussion and then we'll discuss further and then let's see क्या रहता है क्या नहीं रहता है इसके ऊपर में.
ठीक है, ठीक है. Sure. Understood, Suraj. I think that's a good idea. I think we can jump into the system now. So I think that's a good idea. Look, I mean, we can also plan it in an extension mode, right? I like that idea because first thing we can do is, okay, let's just tackle all the import program. Yeah? Just to start with, just to simplify the process. कि जैसे आपके पास sales purchase हुआ है, the moment you have any kind of a purchase, planning the vessel, nominating the vessel, looking at the position and P&L of those purchase immediately, that can be the first starting point. And जैसे से फिर आपका local tank bonded warehouse में आपका inventory आ रहा है, inventory में कैसे positions, how the positions are being firmed up, all that can become your as a second part. Yeah, and then entire settlement. And then once you guys are all comfortable with this, then maybe we can go into treasury and say, because treasury we can plug in right there, and that starts the, because contract एक बार हो गया, then treasury becomes much more seamless. We'll be able to see the estimated cash flows also. Unless contract नहीं होगा तो estimated cash flow बनेगा नहीं, right? वो हमें सिर्फ actual cash flow दिखेगा जब actually invoice हुआ. So that can be a flow that we can look at. Yeah. Anuj, maybe we can just start with few P contracts and just have a very quick vessel nomination, and maybe we can also keep shifting between the risk dashboard, some of the reports handy, jo hai na, so that at least they will have a visual idea how the reports are also working. Yeah.
Okay. So, like I was showing you, I have access to a lot of companies, but this is the default one. इसमें let's say let me create a buy.
Sorry to interrupt Anuji. I have something urgent. I'll take a leave. Surya will continue the call and then we'll have a discussion later on, Anuji.
हाँ जी.
Okay, no problem. Nice meeting you, Harsh. We'll connect soon.
Same.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So like I was telling, there are a lot of fields which can or cannot be used. Of course, some fields will be used. Let's say your counterparty, right? So AAA, Epical, you'll probably, let's say, buying from Epical. Profit center, like I was telling you, you can have multiple, one for trading, one for refining, and maybe other businesses. So let's say refined profit center we choose here. You can have, let's say, if you have multiple traders, you can choose which trader is doing this purchase. Broker references can be added here. Contract terms, again, commodity, all this is coming from the master which we defined initially, right? If you have not defined, nothing will come here. So crude palm oil, then let's say if we have defined, I have not defined any origin, but if you have defined origin, then that will appear here, grades, brand, etc. All the clauses, Incoterms. So let's say I'm buying SIF. Let's say unloading at Haldia. So again, I'm taking bulk here, not the container, right? So it's all loose bulk. So let's say So let's say you're buying 10,000 tons, 10,000 may say you want to keep 5,000 for you, 5,000 you want to trade, or vice versa. All those things are possible here. Either you can do now if you know now, or you can do it later, right? So all the steps, you can split later also, right? And you can always undo. Let's say you are moving from you want to change the quantity, or have done some wrong transaction, or you want to nullify and move to another counterparty. All those things are possible. So you can simply undo the step and then redo with the right party, etc. Right? So let's say period start. You're doing a November shipment. You can have a detailed one also. Let's say if you have you're doing multiple shipments, then those also can be defined here. But let's say if you want to keep it simple, you keep it single. Mm-hmm.
No
Okay.
problem.
Okay. So I was coming to pricing. Yeah. So pricing, like Rahul was mentioning, we have all kind of pricing. You can do either fixed pricing, or you can do a differential pricing, or you can do
Yeah.
a
So
PTBF, which
Anuj,
is
can I ask a question, Surya? So I mean, vessel has left, it's fine, but I think because the BL and the invoicing has to be done, so that invoicing is done on the provisional price, right? Basis which you are opening an LC or something, isn't it? Yeah. No, no. So why I'm saying is there are two scenario here. See, the moment the vessel is loaded, right, and it is unpriced, and but the point is that I mean, at least by little experience, trading experience that I have, none of the supplier will open, will get the tendering done until they do not see some payment term or something. So they do a pricing basis, a provisional basis. So today's market is say 1,050, they'll just do provisional pricing. And once the vessel is on water, so maybe after, even at arrival, or maybe, few days before arrival, they will keep pricing. So you may also price partially, what we call as staggered pricing. So out of say 13,000 ton vessel, you may price, hey, I want to price today 3,000 ton, I want to price say 5,000 ton tomorrow. So all that thing can be done, and the weighted average pricing system can track versus what was the provisional price done.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say I take a fixed price, 1,050 per metric ton. So that uh, it is percentage. You can have both. Again, system is very flexible. Yeah. No. But again, like I said, the system has been made very, very flexible. Typically, it is percentage. So by default, it's all percentage and 2%. But if you have other commodities or other way of doing tolerance, then that can also be done. So if you had chosen, let's say, PTBF or differential, then this becomes activated, and then you can do your provisional pricing here, like Rahul mentioned, right? Then your FX rate. Let's say if you are doing in a different currency, then you can enter the provisional price now, and then the actual price later or something, right? So all those things are possible. Any other instructions, comments, right? So those things can also be entered here. Now, I showed you in the masters that we can do an approval matrix, right? So if an approval matrix is defined, then by default it goes to draft. But if you have multiple levels of approval, you can send it import, right? Yeah. So we have given a template. So you can download the template. You can upload if you want. Yeah, it is all
Yeah, I
possible.
mean, trust me, Surya, it is much easier to copy a contract. I think, see, once you're booked, the import, I'll tell you where the import is an option for sure. But then again, you're filling something in Excel, and then your importing is literally we are trying to create the dependency on two systems, right? So I mean, Anuj will show you how easy it is to really right click and create new contract.
Yeah. So in fact, just to add to that, we are also working on some AI related stuff where you can just copy paste, data from your WhatsApp or email and just paste it here, and it will. Absolutely. So of course, a draft will be created. Maybe certain fields will you still need to enter, but most of the data which will be captured from your conversation will be created here, and then rest you can fill and save it, right? So that way, it is very flexible. So again, like I was showing you initially, the copy option, right, or duplicate option. So once you click on this, the same trade will be created here. So typically, let's say when you have, you are doing trading, there will be a corresponding sale trade also, which has to be created, right? So you can simply copy it, change it, from buy to sell, and change your counterparty, change your price, and you're done, right? So it is as simple as that. But just to go to the next step here, again, this the options, there are multiple options which will be again available in all the screens, uh, which are, of course, it will vary for each screen, but what all is possible at this stage will all be visible here. Some things you can see are disabled, which you cannot do now. So let's say pro forma invoice can only be created once it is confirmed, right? So that's why it is disabled. But other things are still enabled, which can be done at this stage. So let's say I send it for approval, and since there was no multiple levels here, so that's why it directly got confirmed. Otherwise, it would again go and sit for the next person to approve. Then only it will move to the confirm stage. Right now, let's say I copy this. I change it to sell, like I was telling initially. I change the price. So let's say I'm selling at 1100, and I can just go ahead and save it. Right, again it will go back to draft. Now I can go and just validate it once. So it is sell trade. Sorry, I didn't change the counterparty. So let's say I'm selling it to
Take any counterparty, na? Doesn't matter.
okay. Yeah, okay. I was trying to get some real name, but yeah. So let's say whatever ABCI I'm selling it to. Payment yeah. So again, same thing. I need to confirm it. So send it for approval and confirmed. Right. So now both my buy and sell trade are created. Now I can go to the planning screen. So again, in case of
No, I think the next is operation dashboard. See, whatever sales purchase you're booking, you go to operation dashboard, you have a complete listing of all the sales purchase that you have, which is the imported trade, which is the domestic trade, and what are the actions on it, whether it's been priced, whether transportation has been done, which has been invoiced, not invoiced, FX allocation. It's a great page where you can actually have a full status in one single, like a summary page. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so let's say price allocation, transport allocation, actualization, so these are the different steps which, let's say the the operations team will come and see for each all these trades which are already created, and they then based on whatever is pending, they can go on these subsequent steps, right? So in this case, let's say if I want to do a paper planning, so unplanned, so very very intuitive. On left side you can see all the buy obligations, on right you can see all the sell obligations, right? And you can simply choose what you want to choose. Yeah. And again, like Rahul was mentioning, you want to do back to back, washout, string, circle, everything is possible here. Let's say in this case, we want to just do a simple back to back. Okay, something is wrong. But let's say once we do the planning here, the same thing will start appearing in the planned tab, right? So these are all the planned tabs. And once we are done with planning, we can do the actualization. So both your load and unload quantities, you can start appearing, and that's where like Rahul was mentioning, the quality and quantity variations can be captured at this stage, which is the actualization stage, and the same will appear when we do the actual invoicing. So based on let's say the premium, you or you'll start getting the credit or debit note accordingly. Similarly, for quantity outturn also, you will automatically see the price outturn. Uh, Second.
Can we go to the risk dashboard, Anuj, and also kind of focus on the reports while all these contracts have been keyed in, Surya, all these positions and P&Ls are dynamically, start to appear. Position, not the P&L. The P&L for P&L to be done, obviously we need the prices to be captured, but otherwise all the positions starts to come here in the system.
Yeah, so all the reports, these are the standard static reports which are already created. But like I was telling, we are also working on creating AI-based dashboards where you can mention what you want to do. You can create your own reports. You can save it for yourself. You can save it with your team. You can even, let's say, email it to yourself or others. Maybe set a frequency also, right? So let's say every day you want to see certain kind of reports. So instead of coming to dashboard, it can be directly, email to your, mailbox, right? So let's say your finance team can or operations team can also see those kind of reports. Again, all reports are very, very dynamic also. So like I mentioned, static, but at the same time, they are all dynamic as well. So you can choose what fields you want to see. You can go back, go and see the detailed report also for each. For some reason, I don't have access here, but if I had access, it will open and give me the details of this report, right? So net position. Sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. The data backup.
Yeah. So we are on cloud. You want to take, Anuj? You
Yeah.
can.
So Surya, entire thing is running on it's a SaaS platform, so everything is running on cloud. So data backup is by default taken. So we have all the we are ISO certified company, so all the what you call the the things required for ISO, certification, as well as any data security and compliance, everything has been taken care by us, right? So all the VAPT, all the checks, etc., everything is done regularly, so that the data is secured. It is not accessible by anybody else other than you, and also the backups are taken on a regular frequency, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a high availability software, Surya. So basically, being on SaaS, first of all, the availability is 99.5% guaranteed, meaning downtime times are literally close to zero, right? I mean, very few minutes in an entire year. Number one. Number two is that for any kind of DR, the last 15 minutes record are dynamically captured. So all the record, which is, so we are at say 7:20 Singapore time, maybe your time is 4:50, right? So 4:35 data is already backup. So you can always move back by 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, so one is those simple buy and sell trade where you can match it, right? The second is the refinery one, right? So where you are moving from, let's say your buy obligations to your storage inventory, which could be your bonded tanks, right? So these transactions are also possible, which are captured here, right? So on the inventory side, you can build inventory, and then the transfer stock is where I was showing you that the processing stage, right? Where if you have defined any processing strategy for this particular combination, then it will throw you that. I've not chosen the CPO, that's why it is not appearing here. But let me try to see if we can find it here. Okay, this is also not defined. But yeah, sorry, this is refined by maybe for crude pilot. Yeah. Yeah, so this is what I was mentioning initially when I was showing you the masters, right? So the strategy was defined, so it automatically picked it up. So 300 metric ton, it automatically, split it into RPO and the palm fatty acid based on that. Of course, you can go and change it, but based on this, you can transfer it to your FG inventory, and then similarly you can draw inventory, which will show you all the process inventory and the sell obligations on the right hand side. Again, simple mix and match you can do. You can choose, it will automatically appear here. Simple click, and that step is done. So everything is very, very intuitive, very, very simple to use. Steps are also very straightforward, right? So you start with trades, you go to the operations dashboard. Risk is, of course, like a horizontal. So you can define all your limits here, which again, Rahul was mentioned during the presentation, right? So risk, limits and controls can be defined here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So there is a full-fledged FX dashboard, I mean, where you can actually see all your FX exposure, everything on a daily basis. The moment our contracts are keyed in, you know that your company is INR equivalent and you're buying any US dollar. So it will convert into INR and will show you what is the exposure that you're running, on a daily basis.
Yeah. So yeah, so those are standard risk dashboards. Then you have EOD dashboard. So once you run your end of day and you post it, then you can also start seeing the other reports which are based on EOD. So all your MTM mark to market will be also shown you, based on that. So as of now, BN Group has gone live with us.
Look, I mean, Shreya, so in India, obviously, we are talking to quite a number of people, starting from Gokul, Imami, I mean, even
and
Patanjali, right?
yeah,
MK,
MK,
uh,
Patanjali, BL.
yeah,
So yeah, a lot of discussions are going on.
NK protein, yes.
NK protein also, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
let's see who can more. But internationally, I think it's pretty well accepted. It all depends how critically you are looking at your transaction data and all those things. Yeah, yeah, Anuj.
yeah. So see, now you can start seeing all the transactions which have been done recently. So they are all starting to appear here, which I recently did, right? So all these are appearing here. Of course, I have not set any alerts. Otherwise, that also will appear here. Uh, yeah. Then the finance. There's the finance module where once I've not completed the whole steps, but let's say once I have done all the transactions till the end, which is the actualization, then then I can do the settlement. And once I do the settlement, then I can start seeing the invoices. Uh, Again, same approval workflow here as well. So it once the invoices are generated from the settlement module, it will only fall under the pending module, tab. And once they are approved, then only it goes to the approved tab. So these are the approved, invoices. Now, again, this can be settled and posted to your ERP if you have, integrated with the ERP. In your case, let's say SAP. So once you have done the integration, we can post it there so that you can view the ARAP there, and if you want, you can settle also there. And the same thing can be brought back here. Let's say once you have settled in SAP, we have done the integration, you post it from there, and it kind of auto settles here, right? So that is from the invoicing perspective. Then cost, which was shown in trade, one way is to add, directly with the trade itself. So let's say you're doing for purchase and you want to add certain costs, you can either do in the trade itself or you can also add it from here. The cost module, which is this. So and any charges if you have, those can be added here. And then again, you have similarly dashboards here for finance, cash flow. This is basic treasury, so the least treasury which is coming from CTRM. But let's say if you want to have a larger, the complete visibility across, the entire company, then like Rahul was mentioning, we are not just picking data from CTRM, but from also the ERP, we do the complete credit facility management here. And then based on that, we give you the complete visibility. We also upload the bank statement, of course. And based on that, we give you the complete visibility of your cash flow availability, liquidity. So yeah, these are the things which we have. Of course, certain more things keep coming up, based on the demand, based on the requirements which we gather from the users and from the industry, right? So, for example, I mentioned already a few things like the self generation of reports, plus emailing it to yourself, to others. All those things are coming into picture. Shortly, we are also building AI for creating these trades through unstructured data. So those things are coming up. I can also show you a small. Uh, so so we also have. If you have receiving documents from any of your counterparties or any of your testing partners, etc., those certificates, documents can also be auto-read either from the email or uploaded here, and which can automatically fill certain data which may be required for you, right? So let's say in this case, I have a let's say certificate of. I can. I hope it runs. So these things are not regularly used, so they, keep on enabling, disabling it. Let me just try.
Yeah, these are also in an MVP mode right now, right? And the POC mode. So some of these things will come into life, gradually. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah.
it is
Go ahead.
called IDR, Intelligent Document Reading. So basically,
No, no. So these are
uh,
our own developed. We are not using any third-party engine. No, no, no. So we can train our own models, right? We have trained our own models to read that thing.
sorry, I think it's not working, but basically, it fetches all this data from this certificate and shows you uh, the readable format, right? Which then can be uploaded directly into the uh, database. I think it is.
Yeah, yeah. Some of this use Python. Yes. This particular module, the RPAs, but the entire tech stack that we are using in Xceler is Java and Postgres. Yeah.
Sure, sure,
All right.
sure.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Suryaji.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. Yeah.
You too. Bye bye. Bye. Thanks, Anuj.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.